Hi, Dyslexic Genius here, Brett Hurt. My phone number is 864-236-1680, or you can email me at dyslexicgeniushurt@gmail.com. I'm back on the video for Fanny and the Victors 1 through 4 or 5. These motors are all the same. One will have a one barrel or two spring. So what we have to do now is we have to get out this spindle shaft. So what I've done off camera is I've removed the screws from the governor gear here and the spacer underneath, and they're sitting over here. I've also taken off the little collar for the crank handle, and I've pulled that out like that. I got a bug flying around in the shop. So now what we're going to do...
Where were the screws?
The screws are mounted... Right here is a screw hole and a screw hole. I took those screws out.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to look in here, okay, and we're going to make sure that the pin in the spindle shaft, the cross piece right here, is running like this, and we're going to move the 2x4s inward, and we don't want to break this. Oh, and we have a little bit of rust I have to fix. See, I noticed the rust here.
What's this piece called?
This is the motor board, okay, and this is part of the motor board too. Off camera, I loosened this screw. This screw comes out. Voila. But what happens is, there's a ball bearing in there. Watch this. Whoop! There's my ball bearing. Do you see that? You want to see that again? That's pretty cool. I usually use a magnet. Pull that off. I'll replace it and put a new one in.
Where do you get them?
I get them online, but you don't have to. That's just me. That one looks pretty good. As Slim Pickens said once in a movie, in my survival kit, what you need is a 1/4-inch piece of brass rod. Because this is hard to steal. This gear and the spacer underneath are gummed up, like the governor bearing over here. So we have to get this out gently. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick the brass rod in, which won't hurt anything. The screws in here or anything. And then we're just going to take a little hammer. There you go. We're going to pull the gear off. We're going to pull the spacer off. You notice I'm not wearing those cheap gloves this time. And we're going to pull this out. Now we're looking at this, and we don't see any wear in here where it runs in this bearing right here on the casting. So this looks really good. There's no rust. And what we're doing is we're making sub-assemblies. I have the governor out as an assembly. We know what that is. We have the spring barrel out as assembly with this casting. Now what we want to do is pull this piece out. And there's 2 pins that hold this in place like this. They're pinned in. And sometimes, whoop, that one fell apart. That's what I like. Sometimes these are not come apart that easily. So you'll have to take a screwdriver in here and twist up. And you want to work around so you're not hurting the casting like this to get this off.
Because the castings will break.
Because the castings will break. This is the old grease. The reason it's black is because they use graphite in the mix. And this stuff gets hard. This stuff's like hard and icky. Now that we have all these sub-assemblies, what we can do I have my handy little 2-gallon bucket. We can drop this piece in, this piece in, the crank shaft for the crank handle in, the end of the bearing housing in, and the spindle shaft in. And now what I would do would be I would use simple green. I'm out of simple green. I have to get some tomorrow. And I would run a 50-50 mixture up to about where it just covers it. And I would do this today. Like if you're on the weekend, disassemble it, and then before you go to bed or something, dunk them in, put the lid on, let it soak overnight, and then you can scrub everything clean in the morning and dry it. We'll do the same thing with the spring barrels. On the spring barrels, this gear and this is the lock pawn thing for the, when you crank it up, it locks in place. This looks good. The bearings have a little wear. You can see that little mark in here. We have a little wear. We'll have to polish those out. I'll show you how to take all this apart later in another video, probably tomorrow because it's getting late here. You know, this is a lot of fun, and this is my tip for the day.